this time, you are about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Peace. Yo, what up, y'all? Mr. Wiggles representing Mr. Wiggles Part 2. Check it. I decided to put this video together because a lot of people like Part 1, And I thought part 1 was cool. It was basically just me scrounging up a lot of footage, you know what I'm saying, and putting something out real quick. But I think part 2 gives me the chance to show my real skills and also where my head is at as far as the dance is concerned. So I put this video together, you know, I'm using a lot more better footage, and, you know, hopefully y'all enjoy it. But just to give y'all a brief history of where I started and how I began and so forth. It was in the early 80s. Me and Fable were down with a crew called Electric Company, and it was basically a whole bunch of brothers from the Bronx and Fable from Manhattan, and we were doing a dance called Electric Boogie, for lack of a better word, because we didn't know the original terms and stuff, and we named it after the dance. It's called the Electric Boogaloo's. Basically, we were touring the cities and doing all the latest dance clubs and stuff like that, and then we merged with Rocksteady Crew, and it became Rocksteady's Electric Company, and then we did a lot of shows with them, you know what I'm saying, and then there was some political problems, so we decided to break up a little bit and join another group called Magnificent Force, which you seen me and Fable in Beat Street, and I was also in the group Electric Force in the movie Wild Style, Dancing with Double Trouble. But back then, our inspirations for the dance, because the dance started in the West Coast and we were in the East, the first East Coast kids that we saw were brothers like Loose Bruce and the Lockatrons and Papa Maddox and all these kids. But what really set it off was when the Electric Boogaloos did the Soul Train. When they did Soul Train, everybody was talking about it and talking about their styles and blah, blah, blah. And that's really what blew it up in New York. I personally, at that time, had never seen it, but I heard everybody talking about it, and it just blew up my interest for the dance. And then me and Fable just started studying with them brothers, and it wasn't until, like, I don't know, 82 or something like that, Sugar Pop came to New York, and he was touring with Sesame Street. I ain't gonna tell you why or who was he and whatnot, but he was doing Sesame Street, and he came to us and whatnot, and we hooked up in my hallway, and he started dropping bombs on me on all the original Boogaloo styles, you know what I'm saying, showing us some locking, and we were showing us some Brooklyn rock and breaking. He was actually the first guy to bring the East Coast breaking styles to Cali. You know, he was responsible for the exchange, you know, from East and West. He was the first one. And he hooked us up with brothers like Boogaloo Shrimp, Skeeter Rabbit, Sugar Pop, like Pop and Pete, Taco, and all them brothers. He was the connection for us, for all of them. And he dropped a lot of bombs and told us a lot of styles. And from there on, you know, we were just students, you know, we were like little sponges. But I guess being that we were from New York, we didn't get to see them as much as we wanted. You know, our styles would kind of stray once in a while, and we would go into some other stuff. And every time we get back with them, then they smack us up and get us back into the original flavors. And in a sense, it was good because it would give us our own style combined with the original styles, and it helped us a lot. But you can't really call yourself a Boogaloo or a Papa unless you have the original foundation. Just the same as for breaking and just the same as for locking. So, you know, like even so right now, I'm still learning so much, man. I'm hooking up with these brothers and they're dropping bombs on me that even now, if you look at part 1 and part 2, you're going to see that my dance styles have changed a lot. So I want to give a lot of props to all them brothers and Skeeter Rabbit, Sugar Pop, Pop and Pete, Boogaloo Sam, the original Electric Boogaloos, you know what I'm saying, Demons of the Minds, and all them old school heads, man, that kept it alive, and you know what I'm saying. And I hope y'all enjoy this video. So peep it. I'm going to be coming back and forth, dropping more bombs, so enjoy.
Giving and taking are the equal forces in nature and destiny.
Coming to the live from the Charlotte Temple of Hip Hop. The boogie down wrong. Throwing out mad tracks. Saturday the biggest smoke. All produced by Rocksteady, one and only Supreme Mr. Wiggles. Dedicate to all the B-boys out there, inspired by the man Kung Fu Flicks, like Bruce Lee, Jack Chan. take you to the 7 chamber. 7 grand master. Big Z production. Check.
Right.
Allow me to demonstrate the skill of Shaolin.
From the underground, the original Swift Wizard and footwork techniques.
Ken Swift, y'all.
Coming at ya. 7 Grand Masters, underground, Shanghai Brothers, win, lose, and draw. Put your money on the floor, kid, and bring 7 grand. Ill Mike had the skills. He could have been down with the real Tiller Mill, but instead he chose a high price. Here comes another sellout who got brainwashed to get paid regardless of respect. We live hip-hop, straight up and non-stop. And when it comes to jams, we present 7 grand. Ill Mike came in 12 deep, and when it was on, all you heard was rugged, real type break beats. This other crew, they brought it just like a tax audit. And those who were flagrant soon hit the pavement. They try to make it look like a break battle, but Mike made contact and heads rush like cattle. They came to flip like the front pipe. 7 gems bring head cracks. I kick them with the high swipe. Some start to fall hard, but they ain't breaking though. Let's end the set with Brooklyn Rock here, stick and go.
Yeah. Rock steady crew. 7 Grand Masters representing the Shaolin breakbeats, y'all. Shanghai Brothers, win, lose, and draw. We coming to get one of y'all. Mess around, y'all end up with concrete pumas in the bottom of the river, y'all. Yo, Ken Swift, drop some more on them, Ken.
Oh no, brother look like Bolo coming out. Now I gotta come exact all the time, exactly. Air tracks, flying heads like missiles, straight flares and chairs connect hard. Here's a special issue. We stepped up strategic froze like a paraplegic. Put the burners on, don't hesitate, straight up. Detonate like the next one. The wine to the Uber, the style, flip the mover. All moves come XL massive. Side like booyah, close shot like blocks, rip spots like a stain remover. Who you telling? You see my shirt, bro, you know the flow, win or lose. It's another day in the circle.
Yo, enough respect to the young heads out there that understand this. But for those that don't know shit, suck the deck. Word up. Yo, we got to break shit down, kid. We got to keep shit real. Representing the true hip-hop. It's all about the battle. Stars I event represent from breakfast to the serpent. Play fighting outside the theaters. Brothers got hurt back then. Back at the deuce, we got loose. Imitating Matt Flicks we saw with Bruce. And the super produce. Mad fools never seen or heard about. Gave me neighborhood clout. My honeys gather like trout. The competition got rubbed out. No doubt we had the Charlotte shit sewed up like hymns. But now it's all about the 7 gems. It's necessary. My adversaries get smoked like Leafy like a dope DJ. Mr. Wiggles got the techniques. 1200 Buddhas couldn't bless you with the pressure. I'ma test you with it just like Jackie Chan's. Broken English couldn't match his lips. You couldn't understand it, but you knew his shit was fat. I got it just like that. There ain't no manuscript to learn to kick the style I flip, so sorry, sucker. Ancient rock steady secrets, motherfucker. Yo, what's up? You want to battle rock steady 7 gems?
I accept. You lose, and I'll take your head.
Yo, I don't give a fuck. Niggas could be sweating you, and you may think you the best in the world, nigga. But if you don't throw the right shit at the right time, you're gonna lose.
Shaolin shadowboxing. If what you say is true, the Shaolin could be dangerous.
noise. This tape is for y'all. See Boogie. Alright, y'all. Take your position and let the battle begin.
again, yo, Mr. Wiggles, that's right, man. I'm a graph writer. I did all my covers and I do all my labels and all that stuff that you see in the video and the catalogs. A lot of people know me for that, but people didn't know my history in graffiti. You know what I'm saying? I started out like in the late 70s. You know what I'm saying? I used to copy off of my cousin. He wasn't really my cousin, but he was like a real close friend of the family. He would come over to the house every weekend and bring his black books and his photo albums or all his pieces, you know what I'm saying? And his name is Days. And also my cousin Knack, who really was my cousin. And both of them always showed me the latest stuff they were working on, you know what I'm saying? And I used to be the little kid, you know, jocking them, trying to be down, you know what I'm saying? I used to make my own black books out of old books and stuff them with paper and glue it. And I always practiced, you know, hard. And then I went to A&D High School, which was Art and Design High School, which was a popular place for graph writers. They all went to Art and Design for some reason. And we had a thing called the A&D crew. And we all met in the cafeteria. We used to all hang out at the same table, and we used to bomb everywhere. And, you know, we did everything together, you know what I'm saying? We went piecing, racking together. And there was so many dope writers that came from A&D that blew up in the 80s, you know. And the graph writers I hung out with back then was brothers like Fable. Me and him was crimies all the way, from graph to everything. Doze, Scene, Lady Pink, Ernie, Gill, K's, Tack, Airborne, Quasar, Pace, all nasty brothers, man. Male 139 was down with the A&D crew. You had Mode 2. A lot of people didn't heard him. You know, I didn't even know who the hell he is, but that was my man back then. You know, Crash and Blitz, and man, it was so many dope writers that came out of there, man. And you know, I don't want to do nobody justice, man, because you know, if I forgot your name, man, just know I'm trying to keep it real. But there was so many girls, man, too, back then. Lady Linda, and she did a style called calligraphy, you know. And back then, man, it was like a hangout thing, you know. Everything we did together, you know what I'm saying? At Halloween, we bust out of school and go racking. And we always did each other's black books. And black books was a big thing back then, you know, because that's where you harness your skills. So if a lot of kids don't really practice in black books, you know, you're not really getting your skills down packed. You know, even now, to this day, I don't do as many walls as I like, but I'm always practicing in black books. In every city I go, I like to piece in people's black books, you know what I'm saying, and try to throw up nice burners. Not like no quick tag or throw up. I try to throw up a serious burner. But I just want to drop a quick bomb on graph on how I remember it, you know what I'm saying, and just to let y'all know, you know, back in the days, you know, when we did graph, we was always trying to see who had the funkiest letters. Whether you were a bomber or a tagger, it didn't matter. Your letters had to be fat, you know what I'm saying, before anything. Because even the bombers, guys like Bantu and Zephyr, who was up everywhere, who knew how to piece as well, and you know, they all knew how to tag, you know what I'm saying? All their tags were butter. And even if you look at somebody that bombed like Cap, who did throw-ups, and people used to say he was whack, but look at his throw-ups, man. His throw-ups were butter. You know, he had the fat throw-ups, man, Cap. And, you know, everybody that did their thing back then, the first thing that came up was the letters. If the letters wasn't funky, the characters and the colors don't matter. Because nowadays I see graph writers, and really all they work on is, you know, they airbrush skills that they learned in school, and you know, characters, and you know, they'll do whack letters, and then they'll fill it in with fat colors in the piece to try to make it look good, and everybody be like, oh, he's dope, and you know, their paint control and everything would be incredible, but their letters would be whack. When you take it down to the bare letter and scrape all the colors and characters off, you see that the letters was booty. You know, and that's not what graph was about back then, man. It wasn't no front, and people would look at the letters, and if the letters wasn't funky, your joint was whack, whether you was a bomber or a piecer. So, you know, keep that in mind. I'm not trying to diss nobody. You know, I love all the graph writers out there that represent. I support all of y'all, you know, from the bombers to the taggers, man. You know, keep it real, yo, because I'm trying to keep it real myself, y'all. Peace.
1, 2, and I say, right about this time and the place to be, straight up from the BX, bringing you that funk.
see the drip, see the drip. Nah, yeah, just hella good stuff. Practice. Boom. Yeah. My Raekwon joint, the Jodeci.
Check it out, check it out, sure. Styles upon styles upon styles upon styles, styles upon styles, styles upon styles, styles upon styles upon styles upon styles. Yo, Brent, you kick your style.
Yeah, for a while, yo, I'm the mighty Zulu Grim. From the intro to the end, yo, I'm chilling with my man Fade, and he's my friend. And I'll be doing stuff, make it past 10. 10 times 10 is 100, then past 10. And I'ma flip and flow, so you know I will begin. At the beginning and to the end, and then I bend. I blend with artists like a graph artist. I come harder than the next, cause you know I come with text. Styles upon styles upon styles upon styles. Style upon style, style upon style. Style upon style upon style upon style. Yo, Wiggles, flip your style.
I kick it forward. It's not game killing, but I'm skillin'. Drop it in to pick up the pen. And we can begin. You play the defense, I'ma play the offense. I shake you up like turbulence. Yeah, you thinking of dollars, but your rounds don't make no sense. Now we can go header, round for round. You go there, I go. I make the crowd jump like Pogo. Then I check you like that Nike logo. You know my style be crazy, just like Yoko Ono. Battles, yeah, I have my shit like Sonny Bono. I'm a trained MC. I pay mad dues on the subway, plus my shit stay underground like the MTA. Got an old school style like the Coca. Like cheese like you get bummer from blood ashes to blood ashes. Angel dust, that angel dust, you get right crispy. Like snap crackle, sugar pop your cat like a snapple top when you grapple. I be that one bad apple that can spoil my whole bunch. You look up around and you be drinking punch. You know I dress mad deal when I'm on tour. No matter where I go, from the east to the west, north face to the south pole. I thought that you was camouflage. From here to Memphis, so call me now. I wreck another round for this mic check. Styles upon styles upon styles upon styles, styles upon style, styles upon style, styles upon styles upon styles upon style. A lot of people didn't know also that I could rhyme. You know what I'm saying? MCing to me was the first thing that I ever learned in hip hop. Besides the dance and all of that stuff, I was down with an MC crew, Fascinating Force MCs, and we were out back in the days when Cold Crush 4 was rocking, and Fantastic, and the L Brothers, and Little Rodney C and KK Rockwell, Funky 4, you know what I'm saying? Then you had all the Zulu crews, you know what I'm saying? The Cosmic Force, you know. One of my idols is MC Globe from Soul Sonic Force, the GLOBE. He taught me a lot of MC skills, you know what I'm saying? And MCing, man, back then was a lot more raw because there were no record deals. There was no wax, period. All the rap tapes were bought in little flea markets or from a guy called Tape Master and whatnot, and he used to distribute them because he taped all the live jams. So all the tapes were live, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we kind of patterned ourselves after Cold Crush because that was like the Jackson 5 for us in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Cold Crush 4, man, oh man, JDL and, you know, Grandmaster Kaz, KG, The Almighty, you know what I'm saying, Easy AD, Charlie Chase and Tony Tone. You know, we used to listen to their tapes and bite all of their skills, copy their routines, and, you know, try to get their rhyme styles, especially Grandmaster Caz, which I believe is one of the most underrated MCs in the world, period. But, you know, just to show y'all, you know, I represent all 4 elements, you know what I'm saying, and I also DJ'd a little bit, but, you know, I wasn't as good as a DJ tip, though, but I loved I respected everything, and, you know, I try to keep it real, you know what I'm saying.
your kid.
West, don't even test. Funk all the rest.
About the hips.
About the hips. I told him that.
Do that again?
That's enough. I'm still learning. I'm still a student. That's why you don't see me locking that much, because I got a lot to learn.
A word, but you whack though.
Just like Can you show me something from the bar? Alright, see, I've been dancing like like when I was younger, me and Fable, we were learning more of when me and Fable first started, we used to do boogie style. Now boogie was like, you know when Fable does a sword arm angles? See, that was New York. I used to do like a drunken style, and then I used to just bug out. We used to bug out with angles, try to be crippled. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was like our version of electric boogie. And then when we met guys from the Boogaloo, like Sugar Pop, Fable met Pete and them, they showed him the real stuff. And we learned it a little when we were young, and mostly back then it was a lot of this. You know, a lot of wrist rolls, hip rolls, and crazy leg, which Pop and Pete made up the crazy leg. Then I stopped doing it. I started getting into like all of this other stuff, you know what I mean? I just started relearning Boogaloo now. So, like what I'm gonna tell you is what they're telling me now. It's a dance. If you're not dancing, you're not popping. Breaking, popping, and locking is a dance. And when you're popping, you have to do it with a beat. So every time you're doing it, he says you have to play with it. Don't just go out there and go, You must play with the music. You have to play with the beat, you know what I mean? And Boogaloo is really playing with the music and using the hips. Like remember when they used to do this?
Really?
Teach, brother, teach.
We used to
then the shoulders, I'm still learning a lot of it, but the shoulders. And then they use dances, they go to find the beat. Huh? So when you do it, start using more hips. They don't really, I used to think it was all this and all this. But really, he just be bugging. They'll go, and they just drop their back. They'll do stuff like this, and they go, they do like,
because for me,
they move. They'll really
because for me, I think the back is just tack.
No, it's a dance. It's very loose. They have different hand styles. Like 1 minute they'll be straight. The next minute the fingers will be open.
Yeah.
Then they do puppet. So many styles. They got that scarecrow. You got to see him rip it.
Who does it?
But what they tell me now, before you learn the moves, learn the dance. Then do the moves. Yeah. You can make up. You can make up a million moves, but if you don't know the dance, they're not popping. They're not moving. You have to learn the dance. Same thing for breaking and the same thing for locking. You can have a million moves, but if you don't know the dance, you're not locking, you're not popping, and you're not breaking.
Okay.
That's basic.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, brother. God bless you.
La CCD pour la connexion. Ah, la CCD, c'est gagné.
m'a donné des balles.
Yeah, EPs funking up the beats, smoking suckers on the dance floor.
I say, y'all, Mr. Wiggles Part 2. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun doing it. And until next time, stay peace, keep it real, and keep it righteous, y'all. All 4 elements of hip-hop culture. Peace.